Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Sabiha Sultana Shoshi, your English teacher with you, and welcome you all to the English class. We will start English first paper today. And today our topic is Lesson 8 to 11 from Unit 6. Well, there is a story for you and I hope you will enjoy the story. Okay, so let's get started. The Selfish Giant. This is the story. So let's start. Once upon a time, there was a castle standing in the midst of a city which was empty for many years. People say a giant used to live there, but all these years nobody seen the giant. One day the giant came back. He went to see his friend in a distant land and stayed there for 7 years. When he arrived, he saw the children playing in the garden. "What are you doing here?" cried the giant in a gruff voice. Then the children ran away. "My own garden is my own garden, and I will allow nobody else to play in it," said the giant. So he built a high wall all around the garden and put up a notice: "Trespassers will be prosecuted." The children had now nowhere to play. There were no gardens around and the roads were busy and crowded. After school, they used to go round the high wall and talk about the beautiful garden inside. "How happy we were there," they said to each other. Then came the spring. All over the country there were flowers and there were birds. Only in the garden of the giant it was still winter. Here no birds were singing and no flowers blossoming. There were only snow and frost and north wind in it. "I can't understand why the spring is so late in coming," said the giant. He was sitting at the window of his big castle and looking out at his cold, dry and lifeless garden. But neither spring nor the summer came to his garden. One morning the giant was lying awake in bed when he heard some lovely music. It was so sweet that he thought it must be the king's musician passing by, but in fact it was a little bird singing outside his window. "I believe the spring has come at last," said the giant. He jumped out of bed and looked out. He saw the most wonderful sight. Through a little hole in the wall the children crept in, and they were sitting in the branches of trees. The garden was so delighted to have the children back again, and they covered themselves with blossoms. But only one corner of the garden, it was still winter. A little boy was standing alone crying. He was so small that he could not reach up the branches of the tree. The poor tree was still covered with snow. The giant felt sorry as he looked out. "How selfish I have been," he said to himself. "Now I know why the spring would not come here." So he quickly went into the garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened and they all ran away. Only the little boy did not run, for his eyes were full of tears that he did not see the giant coming. The giant quietly came behind him, took him gently in his hand and put him into the tree. And the tree at once broke into blossom. The birds came and sang on it. The other children saw this. They saw that the giant was not weak any longer. So they came running back, and with them came the spring. "It's your garden now, little children," said the giant. Then he took a huge axe and knocked the wall down, and the people passing by found the giant playing with the children in the most beautiful garden in the country. So, this is the story. Now tell me, how is it? It's nice, isn't it? Okay, now can you tell me what's the moral of the story? Well, The best feeling of happiness is when you are happy because you have made somebody else happy. It's true, right? And this is the moral of the story. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the story. And that is all for today. So thank you all for being with me and hopefully see you in the next class. Till then, stay safe and stay well.